years and a repeat of 2007. Wigan played Leeds in the very first grand final in '98 and won. They've been back 3 times since, losing every one. They were last at Old Trafford in 2003. It's the biggest prize in the game, and this is the way the two teams line up. Rhinos have Webb at full-back, Smith, Ablett, Senior and Donald, Maguire and Burrow. The forwards, Luluai, Diskin and Peacock, Jones, Buchanan, Ellis and Sinfield, who's the captain. And on the bench, Lauatiti, Bailey, Scruton and Kirk. The coach is Brian McLennan. Now the Wigan Warriors, it's Mathers at fullback, Calderwood, Phelps, Carmont and Richards. Barrett's the skipper alongside Luluai. Forwards, Fielden, Hyam, Coley, Hanson, Bailey, Tompkins. Bench here, Palliasina, Hock, Colbon and Smith. The coach, Brian Noble. It looks like there's a stag party in here at Headingley tonight on the terrace that is populated by the Wigan supporters, and inside the dressing room Wigan prepare to meet the Leeds Rhinos in the final eliminator for the second year in a row. It's Leeds' first appearance at Headingley for 6 weeks. They were last here on August the 15th when they beat Castleford 54-12. They've won 11 of 13 here this year. They've only lost to St Helens and Wigan. They lost 14-10 to the Warriors in April. The Wigan Warriors waiting. Brian Noble, their coach, loves meetings against Leeds. Since becoming a head coach way back in 2001, that fellow has faced the Rhinos 33 times. He's won 21 of them. Not bad statistics, Steve-O, to come into a final eliminator with.
And maybe it could be a little bit of nerve setting inside the Leeds outfit, who, let's face it, they did not show up last week. They were very, very poor indeed. And Brian McLennan, their coach, would have had to work extremely hard in their defensive quality. It was very poor, they knew that. But the one credit that I have to offer to the Rhinos players is not one of them through this past week have said that there was a mistake, that things didn't go right. They all admitted they didn't play well, and they know that Wigan's going to throw everything at them tonight. Wigan have a wonderful chance. They're on a roll, they're really full of confidence, and as you say, Trent Barrett, Thomas Luluai, unbelievable. There's Ian Lanigan in his first year as the new chairman of this Wigan outfit. He looks a lot nervous, more than the players, I would say, there.
Yeah, it looks like it as the players line up in the tunnel and get ready to enter the arena. The wonderful thing about the playoffs is when you take a look at the statistics. Leeds have won 21 of 27 games this year. They finished second. Wigan just won 13. They finished fourth. But both of them here start with a real 50-50 chance of getting all the way to Old Trafford and the 2008 Grand Final. There's the man of the match of last year's Grand Final, 26 years of age today, and they brought the fireworks out especially for Robbie Burrow's birthday. And the Rhinos supporters believe they're going to Old Trafford. The Wigan fans think likewise. What say you?
It's a very difficult one to call. It isn't normal that I sit on the fence, but on this one, as I mentioned earlier, that it could come down to a penalty kick by Pat Richards or even Kevin Sinfield. It's a big night also for the referee, Steve Ganson. Let's hope that he gives them plenty of room to display their skills. When you look at the contest between so many of these wonderful athletes, especially that one and that one, what a hit on each other. Trent Barrett, Calderwood, they're all there. Absolutely fantastic players. It's going to be tough.
It certainly is. It's Leeds against Wigan, the final eliminator. Someone's off to Old Trafford. Richards gets us underway. A high hanging kickoff. Underneath it was Danny Maguire. Here is Jamie Peacock. There's the first tackle by Stuart Fielden. We're underway. Who has got the greater appetite?
Well, Wigan's major job here tonight, first and foremost, is to stop Peacock. When Leeds won the grand final last year, he was the major reason. The strongest carrier and the best defender on the field that night. He's the key to Leeds here. If he fires in the middle, the rest of the teammates gain confidence. They're 10% more confident when Peacock's on top of his game.
It's Gareth Ellis' last match at Headingley. Could be his last match in the colours of Leeds. He wants to bow out with a grand final appearance. Not the best kick from inside their own half there, straight into the arms of Mark Calderwood. And Calderwood is a man who really does reserve his best. Well, how long does that allow to go on for?
Well, the official has allowed it to go, and the Rhinos, they're in heaven at the moment. He was still moving.
He was, and the important thing is the legs were on the deck. They didn't lift him. If they'd have lifted him, then they would have been penalised, Leeds.
I know he's quick-headed, but what was he thinking trying to take Scott Donald on the outside? The first kick return, almost on the halfway line. He's got to go for a low-risk option and stay on the land.
But Leeds won't be complaining. Here they come with
high shot there from Tompkins.
Good defence from Wigan on that occasion.
Well, Leeds got away with that very poor kick from Kevin Sinfield, and that kicking game is going to be vital tonight. And you're quite right, Phil. You know, Mark Calderwood is duty-bound to get that ball back into the middle of the field and let Wigan set up some field position. On the other hand, it's gone right now with the Rhinos.
It has, and they're here on tackle number 3 as Jamie Jones-Buchanan goes down, and Brian Noble looking just a little bit perturbed in the opening moments here. As Maguire comes down the short side, Burrow gives it to Senior. Burrow then takes a clatter off the ball. Brent Webb waits at dummy half, and he gives it then to Maguire. Maguire looking for Luluai. Ball went through his hands and backwards. Diskin on to Peacock.
Important night tonight for the hooker, Matt Diskin. He's got to control things running around the dummy half. It's a high bomb.
It's a towering kick from Sinfield, and it's not touched. And it's picked up by Bailey, and a big hit on him by Luluai.
Well, they set out the stall, haven't they? The tactics are going to be high. And boy, we've only seen 2 kicks, but one was from the kickoff. And that wound up miles.
Mickey Hyam gets the ball away to Andy Coley. This time last year was stirring relegation in the face. There's Trent Barrett. He really does hold the key to the Wigan performance here tonight. And since the playoffs kicked in a couple of weeks ago, Steve-O, Barrett has looked like he's very keen on an Old Trafford farewell.
Oh, back to his best, back to his Australian international form. He wants to go away with some memento, and it would be a nice farewell for him at the Old Trafford, but they've got to get over this Leeds Rhino outfit, and that's not the best kick.
No, poor kick from Barrett straight to Scott Donald. Donald running straight at Mickey Hyam, who with Andy Coley brings the Australian winger down. That was Brent Webb, gives it to Lee Smith. Lee Smith gets away from 2 tackles, almost gets away from 3. Good job that Bailey was there. Diskin waiting dummy half. He's 40 metres away from his own line. More metres forward now.
Good defensive work, though. They went across, covered anything that Diskin was going to do. I mentioned before the game, Eddie, that the Leeds have got to look towards Rob Burrow, taking on the defence a little bit more. Over the past couple of months, all he's done has been a provider. He's got to ask a few questions.
Great run from Ellis, almost. Nearly released the pass. Diskin clapping his hands at dummy half behind him. Up goes the high kick again from Kevin Sinfield. Oh, Mothers didn't look terribly good under that, but he was taken out, says the referee. It's a penalty to the Wigan Warriors.
Interesting to see the kick there from Kevin Sinfield. We often see it in the gridiron, but when he got the ball up in the air, watch how it spins. He goes high, but it's sort of spinning, going all over the place.
He worked that on the outside of the foot, and Brent Webb, no intention. If he really had put his mind to get the ball, he could have really challenged, but he was going for the big shot.
Yes, the referee saying to Brent Webb he had no designs on trying to get the ball, went straight for the man, hence the penalty. That's why it's been given. But, well, I think Sinfield and Leeds have shown their thoughts early. They're going to bomb Richie Mathers tonight, and of course they know Richie Mathers of old because he's a former teammate of theirs. Be a fascinating battle this tonight.
The kicking game is going to be very important for Leeds. It's almost a little bit too one-dimensional. It's going to be, I think, Sinfield for most of the kicks tonight. When you look at the Wigan side, though, they have equally as good kickers in Barrett and Luluai, and that 2-pronged attack might just provide that extra little bit of an edge later in the game.
Here is Scott Donald again for the champions, the Leeds Rhinos. Great offload to Diskin, then back on the inside to Sinfield. Sinfield find Ellis, and he nearly went up the middle.
Pretty good defence again out wide. They made sure that they squeezed in quickly so that they couldn't get a long pass out there on that right-hand side. Interesting to see there, Wigan kicked early on the third tackle.
It's Luluwai charging up the middle for Leeds, gets the ball away to Diskin. Oh, off the thigh of Maguire, and Wigan gobble it up in the shape of Thomas Luluwai.
Well, it wasn't alert, Maguire. Simple as that.
Wigan in possession then. You know, only one team that's finished second has failed to reach the grand final in the last 10 years. Darryl Powell's Leeds didn't make it in 2003. They were beaten here 22-23 by Wigan in the final eliminator of that year. This is Barrett, pops the ball up to Bailey. Bailey tackled by Luluwai, plays the ball there to Trent Barrett. This is Mathers. Here now is Joel Tompkins. Tackle number 4, 6.5 minutes gone. Mathers in possession, finds Barrett. Barrett to Luluwai. Space here, but straight into the back of Andy Coley, and that is obstruction.
Not happy with it, the big prop forward. I think it's quite clear. And he certainly just lifted the arm, never got out of the way, and then finished somebody else off.
And even inside the first 10 minutes of this game, and when Wigan haven't really had much ball or good field position, they're showing that they want to play with a bit of width. They've passed it out wide to the right wing, they've gone out wide to the left-hand side, and I think that we saw in the performance last week in France, they've started to find a little bit of confidence. They're moving the ball around, and they're causing some problems for their opponents.
Leeds look to cause some problems for Wigan now in defence as Ellis takes the ball forward on the first tackle. Diskin again. Ball inside to Peacock. It looked as though it had drifted forward to Luluwai. Wasn't tackled. Now he is by Fielden. Diskin again. Diskin, here comes Sinfield. Sinfield then to Burrow. Burrow to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Senior was the runner, and it was a short pass to him. Important tackle by Cameron Phelps and Mark Calderwood. Burrow at dummy half. Finds his captain, Sinfield again. Here is Peacock. One of the 3 nominees for the Man of Steel award that will be announced in Manchester on Tuesday of next week. This is Sinfield. Here now is Maguire, and Maguire takes the ball up the middle. Important tackle that by Mickey Hyam.
That's more like it. That's what we want to see from the 2 half-backs, Maguire and Burrow.
Brent Webb into the in-goal area. Richards is underneath this. Richards claims it in goal. Diffuses the bomb. It's a tap on the 20. Calderwood wants to get on with it.
They're going to do it very quickly as well. Calderwood, as normally done for so many years. But that's surprising me that Leeds is starting to kick over to that wing where Pat Richards is. I mean, he's 6'3", one of the tallest men out on the ground.
Hold.
And he picks it out, and it's so easy.
Wigan in possession then with Mark Calderwood.
Third. Hold.
7 tries for Wigan against Leeds, and 6 of them have come here, Mark Calderwood. That was a flying tackle by Peacock on Fielden, and Ellis was in there as well. Fielden will have felt that. Plays the ball to Hyam. Hyam to Luluwai. Luluwai to Coley. Coley, gets away almost from Peacock. Still, tackle not completed. Play on, says the referee. Now it's complete. That's the last. Plays the ball to Hyam. It's Barrett. He'll hoist the kick. Not a bad one either, because Lee Smith's coming after this. He positioned himself well in the end.
What on earth?
That was Lee Smith to Brent Webb. He got away with it.
Oh, dearie me, Brian McLennan. Oh, I hope he wasn't putting a mint in his mouth. It would have swallowed and choked him.
Here's Lee Smith again.
Oh.
And Lee Smith gets the penalty.
I don't think he does, Eddie. I think this will go against Leeds.
Stand there with Kevin. That's unacceptable. Stand there.
Now then, something's gone on. The referee has seen something, and the touch judge is on.
Got interference from Bailey.
Yeah, that was what I'm on for a slap to the head.
Yeah.
But I didn't see what happened after.
Right, I did. I'm all right with that. Okay, mate.
Well, it was a bit of a kick out.
Phil Bailey first. Phil Bailey.
And Lee Smith did not miss. This will go on report, surely.
Well, it could be a red card, this, you know.
Hold him down, mate.
A kick in the face.
Shocking.
Penalty's going to go to Leeds.
Now, they've got to decide whether he knew he was there.
OK, mate, you've kicked out.
Oh, that is shocking.
The benefit that you're attempting to get up and play the ball. Incidents on
You're right.
report for
Oh.
the kick out.
He's taking the option of putting it on report.
He's trying to get up.
It's very difficult for the officials because you've got to make sure that he knew his head was there, and it's hard to decide.
I don't think Steve Ganson can do anything else under that circumstance. Bailey's head was behind Smith. You can't guarantee it was used as a target. It looked that way, certainly, but the referee can't make that judgment.
Well, on that replay, you have to say that Smith perhaps didn't see him.
Well,
He
he's
knew
got
he'd
an
been
anxious
tackled
wait.
with it.
If Leeds get to the grand final, he's got an anxious wait to see how the disciplinary people view that, and maybe what's of more equally as much concern is the fact that Lee Smith could be a pick for Tony Smith for England. There are wingers going down like 9 pins, and there are of course full back spots to cover as well, and Lee Smith does all of that. That's in the international stage. There is the England coach. Here is Peacock. Peacock, great pass away to Webb, over the top on through the legs of Burrow. Leeds get away with it. Jamie Jones-Buchanan here gets the ball away to, well, thought he had to Senior, and so did the Wigan defence. Brent Webb, dummy half. This is the 4th tackle. Burrow to Sinfield. Sinfield wide to Maguire. Maguire goes wide then to Lee Smith, and Lee Smith comes back on the inside. Now he'll straighten it up. Cut down by Cameron Phelps. Last tackle here. Diskin. That look forward. Doesn't matter now. Brent Webb dabs the ball far too deep.
It's panic from Leeds. Passes are going astray. They're going to ground. They get into a good field position, and yet they're panicking as though there's only about 5 minutes left of this game. They've got to steady themselves, steady the ship.
Rugby League World Cup is coming up on Sky Sports live only with us. There's 18 live games from the back end of October right the way through the month of November. It begins on the 25th of October with England against Papua New Guinea at 9:30 in the morning, Saturday the 25th.
The experience in the Leeds side has shown that it can bounce back from a disappointing defeat last week. The best 2 players on the field, in my opinion, at present are Peacock and Kylie Luluai, the 2 Leeds front rowers, and they're setting a great platform for the rest of the side, increasing their chances of victory here.
It's Wigan who are in possession though here at the moment with Barrett. He goes around one would-be tackle from Diskin, gets the next though from Senior. That's the last tackle on him and for Wigan. Up goes the kick now from Luluai. Smith's underneath this. Oh! Richards has picked his pocket, flicks the ball up. And again, it's still in play, but then Harrison Hansen couldn't take the final pass in, and the chance goes begging. But that was an opportunity.
Oh, he just lost his footing. But how quick was that? The offload to Carmon, and then they just tried to keep it alive. Oh, we knew that Wigan would be kicking right over to Lee Smith. We've mentioned again the fact that Richards is so tall. Picked his pocket. Should have scored.
Had he not slipped, he might have done. There he is, Pat Richards, and he is, for the 2nd time, Super League's top point scorer. 269 points in the weekly rounds. And he got all 6 points here a year ago in the 36-6 defeat. And look at the missed tackle. These 2 sides are banging form. 14 minutes gone, 0-0.
Leeds quite happy to do that very short, flat pass. Going to be interesting what sort of kick this will be.
It's flat and it's diagonal, and it's into the arms of Calderwood again eventually. Calderwood will run it back, tries to get around Maguire, can't do so. That was never played properly, but Wigan will say that Maguire
It's good referee.
had a little tug at Mark Calderwood.
Great stuff from Steve Ganson there, the official. Okay, 50-50 both ways, get on with it. That's what the crowd want to see, and that's what we want to see.
Ooh, legs were up then.
Yeah, certainly, Burrow.
Here's Carmont, fires the pass to Calderwood. Then all about his speed. Calderwood, great ball to Barrett. Barrett couldn't get the ball into Carmont. Leeds have got it back.
Again, a golden opportunity. Lady Luck just not going the Wigan way. Two wonderful opportunities. The first one with Richards gets the big high bomb, and then Barrett makes the break.
That's Ablett for Leeds. Lee Smith is the dummy half for the Rhinos. Can't get away from Hyam. Palliasina there, you see him with the headguard on. He is on, the big man. On for Andy Coley. But that is Joel Tompkins all over the back of Danny Maguire.
Well, we're seeing more from Danny Maguire in the first 15 minutes than we saw the entire game last week.
Good offload from Sinfield to Diskin. Diskin then to Ellis. Just stuttered in front of the man in front of him. Carmont wasn't going to be fooled. George Carmont, Wigan's Player of the Year named this week. Up goes another high kick from Sinfield. Danger for Mathers. Oh, he didn't want to know. It's with Burrow. It's still on the last, I think. Referee's not wiped the tackle count down. Poor kick from Burrow. Cameron Phelps picks it up, but Richie Mathers is a problem at fullback.
Shocking. He just doesn't know where to position himself. As you mentioned, Eddie, he didn't want to commit himself at all. Oh, that's a big red rag for the Leeds outfit.
Well, that's given Kevin Sinfield and co the hint, hasn't it? Palliasina on the charge. What an offload. Hyam.
Leeds fans screaming that Richards was obstructing. Well, we haven't had a tight competition, have we, in the playoffs yet?
Well, not at the end of the day, Steve, you're right, but the first 20 minutes have always been the sorting out period. But you get the feeling this could go right down to the wire tonight. Barrett's kick is a beauty.
Oh, he's coming with the header. That'll be a knock-on.
He's offside, isn't he?
But it's got to be a knock-on, surely.
Come on, Rob.
Doesn't matter. Wigan will get head and feed here.
Trent!
What on earth was Donald doing?
Trent!
No, he's come from behind, to be fair. Brent Webb came from behind. Fair play. Well done, referee and touch judge.
It's always been Mark Calderwood's strength. He loves to chase the kick when he's side put it down, especially if it stays in the field of play. He'll do it all evening. He may have some weaknesses and flaws in his game, but chasing the ball is what he's best at.
From a coaching point of view, what you don't want is your defensive winger taking his time to get back. Get there at pace, pick the ball up, and then decide what you're going to do with it. Scott Donald walked, and Mark Calderwood sprinted into that situation. That's how he came out of it.
Carmont gets to his feet, plays the ball to Mathers, who pushes it wide. And Scruton was onto Harrison Hansen in a flash. This is Hyam, here is Lulawai. Short ball to Bailey. And Bailey was almost through. Desperate defence from the Leeds Rhinos. Bailey will get to his feet and play it to Hyam again. Hyam finds Fielden. And Fielden is halted in his tracks. Hyam trying to burrow one for himself. Good defence from Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Kevin Sinfield low down. That's how close Wigan are. The ball will come out to Barrett. There goes the kick to the in-goal area, looking for the tall figure of Richards again. Lee Smith claims it in the field of play. Well played, Lee Smith.
Tremendous take. Unbelievable pressure as well for the winger. And that's good play by Leeds.
Great run from Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Jamie Jones-Buchanan has he got the legs. Calderwood's after him. Calderwood gets him down. Just.
Wigan are all over the shop though. They should score. That's got to be a penalty. And that's got to be a 10 minutes in the sin bin. And it's on. This is no handbags. There's no handbags in there, I'll tell you. They're still at it out there.
Well, the video referee Ian Smith will have to have a look at this. The referee, Steve Ganson, has asked him to take a peek and see what happened after the penalty was about to be blown. There were certainly punches thrown all over the place.
Well, Calderwood just went round the side. Now to me, and you can see Tompkins come in there, and Smith threw one, then they get it out. Oh, Phelps got one in, they're all into it. Bailey threw one at Senior. It's all on. This is a professional foul by Calderwood. He's got to get 10 minutes in the sin bin as far as I'm concerned. There was Barrett. Senior got one. Peacock says, let me have a go. He's not standing square to start with. And Tompkins has just come flying out. And then Smith, watching him, Barrett then decides to turn him into a coconut and then pull it off. Bang! Wow!
Mark Calderwood, yes, you.
Well, he wants Mark Calderwood. I think because I just heard him talking to the touch judges, he said professional foul, so I think this is going to be 10 minutes in the bin.
It's got to be.
And I think he's also having a word with Trent Barrett in a moment.
I think Keith Senior could be joining Mark Calderwood in the sin bin here.
I think Trent Barrett might be as well.
Mate, that's a professional foul. You know exactly what you're doing. You're going to sin bin. Go on.
So Calderwood's in the sin bin.
He'll change colour. Keith Senior, I'm finished with you now. Keith Senior.
Oh, he says he's finished with Trent Barrett. He wants Keith Senior. You're right, Phil.
I think Keith Senior will be joining him here. We've got a game of 12 aside.
Hang on. Now this is very, very lucky, so don't say a word. You're the third man in, which instigates a problem. You're going to sin bin. Okay, Leeds get the penalty. Off you go.
But he's controlled that very well, Steve Ganson.
When Calder jumps on.
Well, he's professional enough to understand it all, and I'm glad that he's certainly got Calderwood. Senior certainly came in and involved, and we've had it in our game for quite some time that anybody that races from any distance into a melee like that, they fully deserve the 10 minutes in the sin bin. Professional foul, of course, to Mark Calderwood.
Well, he said that Keith Senior was the third man in. He could have been fourth, fifth or sixth because they all got stuck in
Well,
there.
it came from such a long way away, Eddie, and that's what they don't like, and they've got it spot on. But you know what? It takes away the brilliance of the break from Jamie Jones-Buchanan. How incredible was that?
And what a tactical switch from Brian McLennan. Only moments before that break, he'd swapped Jamie Peacock and Buchanan, swapped them around, and that put the man in that position. I'll tell you one thing, Trent Barrett is the luckiest man still to be on this field. He's come in, he's got him at a grapple around the back of the neck, and that didn't help matters.
Well, we knew it was going to be tough,
On the try line.
and we didn't think that it would explode into something like this. I'm not so sure that, taking the 2 points is the right option, because I think Wigan might have been all excited and all nervous. Who knows?
Well, Wigan will say 2 is better to concede than 6. And Kevin Sinfield doesn't miss those. Leeds 2, Wigan 0, could easily have been 6-0. Jamie Jones-Buchanan just pulled down 5 metres short of the line. Then all hell breaks loose.
And it was good work, wasn't it, from Mark Calderwood? You've got to give this guy credit. The second rower said, I'm going, but he knew that Calderwood was coming. And there was never going to be any doubt that this was a professional foul. Tompkins came in, push, and I'm with you, Paul Cullen. Trent Barrett is a very lucky boy indeed.
Well, the referee has just had a word with Trent Barrett. Says he knows it's a semi-final, but let us have no grapple tackling.
Okay, mate.
Because the arm was certainly round the neck.
Well, to add insult to the injury, Eddie, is the fact that it's one thing doing a grapple tackle. It's doing a grapple tackle when there's about 5 or 6 players coming at you to give you a good walloping.
Hold. Go.
I happen to think it's the best way of stopping a fight, Steve, or going in and grabbing somebody. Whether you grabbed him a little bit too high, that's another point, but you've got to somehow try to stop and control the situation. We're going to have done remarkably well, Eddie. It should be probably 6 points behind and playing with just 12 men against 13. As it is, there were only 2 points, and both players have lost a guy. In fact, Leeds have probably lost one of the most dangerous players who they like to go to whenever they're in a good position.
This is Diskin for the champions. He gets it away eventually. Oh, Webber's lost it. Barrett swoops on it. Here comes Cameron Phelps.
And there's Jamie Jones-Buchanan, now switched, started at second row, moved to prop, he's now playing left centre.
Penalty here for Wigan.
Interference there by Rob Burrow.
Hold it up, mate.
And Phelps quite happy to let the little fella get involved.
You know, Steve Ganson has got his critics in this game, but I think he handled that situation there when there was all the punching and shoving going on. I think he handled it magnificently.
He certainly did, and I must say, he has a habit of being able to slow things down.
You could see in the background Steve Ganson's eyes were fixed on Keith Senior, because Keith Senior was making the bigger fuss than anyone else in that ruck, swinging arms, jumping over the top of the people, and he really did put himself in the frame.
Well, here's the fellow that Paul Cullen thought might just turn the game Wigan's way in our pre-match build-up, Gareth Hock. And he plays it there to Richie Mathers, who gives it to Palliasina, who gets up ahead of steam, spins and turns. He's always looking to offload this fellow, but this time he goes down under the tackle. That's only the second. They're 18 metres away. It's with Luluai, and Luluai, he takes tackle number 3 from Jamie Peacock. That's Mickey Hyam. Warrington bound, Mickey Hyam next year. Ball from Barrett on the bounce, gets its way to Pat Richards, who cuts back inside again. Leeds defence, to be fair, stood firm as a rock then. This is Barrett out the back door to Luluai.
5, back to the line. Hold.
This is Hyam. Hyam to Barrett. Barrett dabs the ball to the in-goal area, and Donald, was it? Did he get the last touch? Yes, he did. It's a goal line dropout. It's a goal line dropout.
Beautiful dink in, isn't it? Just hits his head, but does it hit his head when his foot's on the whitewash?
What we've got.
This is the big question. No, it hit it just before.
Come off the leads, man.
Now, if his foot had been on the whitewash then, but it wasn't. That's a good call.
Okay, mate. Just
tremendous call. Nice pressure, though, isn't it, Trent Barrett? You mentioned the fact that Brian Noble is thrown on Gareth Hawke, but even when on his first touch, when he was playing the ball, you could see him. He turned around and he pointed at Maguire. He just can sometimes switch off, can't he?
Fielden at pace. Oh, Peacock went for the big shoulder, missed him, and Fielden hauled down by little Rob Burrow.
He's hurt. He got a knock on the head then,
and it's a knock on.
I think Peacock missed him once. He didn't miss him the second time. Chase from 10 metres over.
Yeah.
They got him a little late too, just high.
And it was high, Phil. That could have been a penalty. And I think Mr. Fielden and they're saying, listen, we used to be mates. Barrett saying, listen, calm down. It's the importance of Trent Barrett being the captain out there. He's got to slow things.
You two are best mates, aren't you?
Did you hear Steve?
Now, come on.
Gee, Steve goes, you two are best mates, aren't you? Don't want you falling out. Now, come on. I mean, that's our game, isn't it? That's the game of rugby league. No messing about.
You can guarantee one thing, that's not the end of it.
No, definitely not. They might be best mates, but we'll see. The other thing that struck me in the early part of this match, Steve-O, 26 minutes gone, who are Wigan going to replace Trent Barrett with next year?
It won't be easy. It is for sure.
Peacock. Diskin. Maguire. Just jinked away from one tackle. Hansen was there, so was Hyam.
And again, we are now approaching 27 minutes into this game. We have not seen Rob Burrow take on the defence. Not once.
Ablett.
At the start of the season. Oh, Maguire's got a problem with the left shoulder.
Sinfield will hoist the kick again. That's a bit too deep, but nobody's after it.
The bounce.
And this time Mathers was content just to allow it to bounce dead, and there is a problem for Maguire. He's on his way off the field, is he? No, he's just going to the far side to try and run the injury off.
There could be the biggest mismatch of the game if Danny Maguire defending 2 in on that right-hand side of the Leeds defence. At some point, he's going to go up against Gareth Hawke.
Hold, Gav. Hold.
Hawke is out there prowling around and waiting. The ball's going towards him first, though. It's Paliasina. Tackled by Scruton, Peacock and Ellis on halfway. Wigan. 3 tackles gone this set of 6. Here's Hawke. Thinking about the offload, he was. Thought better of it.
But that's the beauty of him. You just don't know what he's going to do.
Stuart Fielding got in the way of that ball. He wanted it early, then he was going to go up and over and straight at Danny Maguire.
Last tackle here for Wigan. It's with Luluai, now Barrett. And up goes the kick again. It's a good kick too, because Brent Webb has to come for this. He's missed it. The ball is bouncing all over the show, and Lee Smith to the rescue. Well, neither fullback is terribly convincing under the high ball.
Eddie will just throw this in here. The lighting here at Headingley is absolutely awful. Both fullbacks, you know, we got good tradesmen. We've got good tradesmen on the field. Every time the ball goes in the air, you don't quite know where it's coming down. It's getting lost in the lights, or shall I say, lack of them.
And they need the ones from the Singapore Grand Prix then this weekend. They're 4 times as bright, apparently.
Well, there's 1 or 2 bulbs out on a few of the stanchions here at Headingley.
Well, the biggest problem,
they're not great.
The biggest problem with it, and Paul is spot on, is the fact that they are so high that the ball can get lost.
Oh, Sina. He's still going. He's still going. He took on Scruton then, who missed him. Fortunately for Scruton. Here is Harrison Hansen. The worrying thing for Wigan and the pleasing thing for Leeds, look at the scoreline. It's been Wigan's match for 28 minutes.
I disagree, Eddie. I think the longer the game goes on and Wigan's still in it, the more they'll grow in confidence and the more the pressure and anxiety mounts on the Leeds outfit.
Well, yes, but all I say is that Wigan on the front foot for 29 minutes now, and they still haven't got a point on the board.
Well, in the first 5 or 10 minutes, it was Leeds who had the better field position. It sort of evened itself out. They've had some chances. Here's the penalty here that Wigan will get. And this is the first time I think they'll be within 10 metres of their opponent's line with 6 tackles to go at it.
Referee wants the captains here.
Well, it was pretty high from Maguire, but also Barrett was pushed to the ground off the ball. He'd already sort of sent the ball away and was hit by Gareth Ellis. There you see it in back play, just on the left-hand side. It was high again from Maguire.
It's all across the board.
Well, Gareth Ellis has been spotted here with a late shot on a Wigan player. It's going to be a Wigan penalty, and the referee has called the 2 captains together, and I don't know whether you heard him in the background while we were looking at the replays there. He said he doesn't want any more, well, the Australian word is, and Brian Noble wants 2 points from this, he doesn't want any more sledging, which is arguing amongst themselves and calling each other names either side. He doesn't want any more questioning of decisions, and he says if he gets any more of that, the referee, as far as he's concerned, he will deal with it if the captains don't. Steve Ganson tonight's on top of this.
And he needs to be as well, because the tension is building every second. Every time that there's any chance, the opposition into each other, high shots, and he's right, the sledging is shocking.
Richards to level the scores. It's 2 apiece at Headingley. Leeds 2, Wigan 2. Maybe Wigan can breathe a little sigh of relief now, Phil. They're on the board.
They're on the board. I thought they might have gone for the try, but with the kicker of Pat Richards' ability, the normal state that they're in, they do take the 2 points whenever they can. Both sides back now to 13 players. It's back to the normal rules of rugby league.
Yes, the sin binning's over.
I think what's going to be very important now for Wigan is that whilst Fekir Palacina is on for his spell, Wigan have had the ball an awful lot of time, so he's not been fatigued. Leeds have not had the chance to run at him in the middle channels, because you know this guy can cause you an awful lot of damage if he's got enough juice left, and he's not wasting it in this spell with working defence.
Here's the Leeds X factor on. Ali Lauatiti has joined in the fray. This is Fielden, good break from Fielden, still going, and in the end it's Peacock who comes back to pull him down.
Well, he got a heavy knock a few moments ago, but he's certainly putting himself about. This is good work from the forwards.
Luluai. And that's Tim Smith. Here's Gareth Hock. And Gareth Hock bumps and barges his way to the halfway line. Well, Brian Noble said his players were much fresher. They had more juice left than they did 12 months ago, and in the opening 32 minutes, that's evident. Third time in 6 years Leeds have faced Wigan with Old Trafford up for grabs. Last year it was 36-6 to the Rhinos. They went on, of course, to win at Old Trafford against St Helens. St Helens awaits again a week tomorrow. This is Richards trying to force Lee Smith off him. Can't do so, though. Good 2008 Grand Final next Saturday, live, Sky Sports 1 from 5:30. Saints against either of these two. Towering kick again. Brent Webb collects that under a bit of pressure. Barrett again was up and high round the neck of Brent Webb. Didn't like it, the New Zealand international.
It's pretty solid tackling there. Phil Bailey turning them over, turning them over, and they've given away a silly penalty. And it looks like someone's had a few words to the official, Steve Ganson.
Cameron Phelps.
It's the same. It's taken. I've won Carl Ablett the same. Not having it.
Not happy with it, and there you can see he's already warned them. He told him, keep your mouth shut.
Hold. Stop.
Now Nick Scruton carries the battle forward for the Leeds Rhinos.
If this carries on, Steve Ganson will lose his voice.
this carries on, Steve Gansel will lose his patience. Rob Burrow, good run. Great run from Burrow, he just straightened it up. Coleman got to him, so did Tim Smith.
It's taken 33 and a half minutes for him to inject himself. That's what they want more of.
This is Ian Kirk.
I'm sure Brian McLennan's got the message out. There's a problem for one of the Wigan players.
It's Harrison Hansen, he's in, back on the floor, out wide it goes, they must score. Lee Smith will touch down for the Rhinos. Champions in the front at Headingley. The big men came off the bench. Kirk came involved, Lauatiti came involved, and suddenly Wigan's defence is cracked. And Lee Smith with the try. 2 tries against Wigan in August when they won 52-16 at the JJB Stadium. A grand final try for Lee Smith last year and a try in the last home game against Castleford. That is his 10th try of this campaign, and Lee Smith with the opening try of this final eliminator.
Well, he's the one that actually scores it, but it was a build-up that made it. Beautiful pass out wide. He knew he had the numbers. They'd come in very tight on the sliding defence, but when Diskin sends it there, Maguire did everything right. Richards had to go for him. Smith very sensibly come in another 12 metres, make it easier for Kevin Sinfield for the conversion. But what about the break from Rob Burrow? His first attempt at asking a question of the defence. He gets right the way through, 20 metres forward, quick play of the ball. Leeds have scored the first try.
And can Kevin Sinfield add the extras? Skipper needing just 14 points to join Lewis Jones on 2,000 points for the Leeds Rhinos. The 2 have gone begging there, but Leeds are ahead by 6 points to 2.
Well, Leeds have shown just what they can do when they get a quick play of the ball. Basically, Rob Burrow's on a run here because that's the first time the defence is going backwards. With his speed, he will look dangerous. But, you know, one quick play of the ball in the set, Eddie. I think it was Lauatiti who started it from a tap penalty.
Yeah.
Fielder went to put a big shot on him. He missed. And then everyone after then, Wigan were playing catch-up. That's brilliant skill, too, from the winger. One-handed, lovely soft catch, brings it in under control.
Absolutely, and also Leeds exploiting the fact that Harrison Hansen was down and injured in the build-up to that try. Looks like he's all right now, number 16, there he is.
In these tight games, you've got to take the opportunity, and as I say, it has surprised me. Not just in this first half, but over the past couple of months, the way that, you know, Rob Burrow have obviously... Oh, that's a big mistake.
That could be a crucial moment of this first half. Ian Kirk knocking the ball on.
Under a lot of pressure there.
Good work from Tim Smith.
But look at this here, it was Fielding who went for him, he slipped out of the way. Because it's a legs tackle, he's able to get up quickly, and the try started at that moment in time.
Yeah, Ali Lauatiti, Brian McLennan was expected to get the best out of the big New Zealander this year, and he has done so. This, meanwhile, is Mathers for Wigan as they get possession from the scrum. They've got 3 minutes to half-time, and Barrett at dummy half. He's found Harrison Hansen, who almost went round a couple then.
But you've got to look towards Hock out wide on that left-hand side.
Well, that's where they're going now with Luluai and Coley, and back he comes to Barrett. Long ball then to Tim Smith. Smith goes wide to Richards, who puts it down.
He can't
Chance
believe
goes
it.
begging.
He can't believe it. Brian Noble certainly can't. The chance was there. He should have taken that. Nothing wrong with the pass at all. And you could see that Lee Smith was just a bit inside. I know, neither can I, mate.
Here we go.
I don't know what he's worried about. He's a Wigan supporter, a Leeds supporter, isn't he? And Pat Richards has just put the ball down. Maybe he's a wolf in sheep's clothing tonight. What do you think?
They have a red and white.
He might, underneath, yeah.
We shall dig deep and find out.
2, back up.
That was a big opportunity, though, and Wigan know it.
I think that guy's in the Wigan end, so that means that he's a Wiganer. That's why he was looking a little concerned and a bit upset.
Again, another little foray from Rob Barrow. No doubt in my mind, Brian McLennan, the Leeds coach, has said, come on, we need something to break down this pretty solid defence from Wigan. Both sides, to be fair, they're getting back in numbers.
Sinfield looks again and hoists that high kick. Mathers. Ooh, he doesn't look convincing, does he?
He took that ball like Tommy Cooper. He was going to think it was going to pop out. And
Well, not like this, like this.
Oh.
Like that.
Oh,
Go.
great hit.
Third. Hold.
Well, we didn't see it from the Leeds forwards last week against St Helens. There was very little fire and enthusiasm, but it's on display tonight.
6-2, we enter the last minute of this first half. Hock will take it forward again, and Scruton stood his ground.
Okay, boys, hold, go.
Last tackle here, look where Wigan are, still deep in their own territory. They're running it here. They're running it here with Cameron Phelps. He'll hack it down the line. Calderwood's chasing and is going to sit up. And Calderwood, no, Donald. Oh, sensational, Scott Donald.
Well, he made a boo-boo early in the game, didn't he, when he came up with a knock-on?
Well, he learned his lesson, didn't he? He knew that Mark Calderwood was right behind him.
Bang, look at this. Oh, ever so close.
Brilliant play from the Leeds winger. Brilliant. Scott Donald.
He's had a tremendous year, hasn't he? Scored some sensational tries this season. That could have been a penalty. Well, they've seen her all over the man.
Here is Peacock to halfway.
They're quite happy, Leeds, just to go into touch.
One last play the ball. And Burrow hammers the ball towards the in-goal area. Keith Senior is chasing this. And the ball just beats everybody, Mathers included. Brian McLennan turns and heads off to the dressing room. Brian Noble won't be far behind him. Well, they're ahead by 6 points to 2, a match that is absolutely tight as a drum. Sinfield's penalty in the 21st minute, 2-0. Richards replying with the same on the half hour. Then the Smith try, 6-2. Sinfield missing the conversion. We've had 2 men in the sin bin, we've had a punch-up, we've had the lot. And it's 6